It is indeed an honor for me to come here this morning and be recognized in a manner in which even my grandchildren, who sometimes ask, what do you do actually? What do you do actually? Because sometimes, I think you'll know that, we'll be sitting at our homes and there'll be a huge function on film and a red carpet and all the celebrities would walk past. And I'll be watching it with my children and my wife and my grandchildren at home. And they look at me like, why aren't you there? These are the celebrities. And that's just, and I always explain, I'm just a working artist. I'm not a celebrity. Because I don't know who decides you're a celebrity and who decides you're no longer a celebrity now. So I don't want to be caught in that one. My work simply has always been to tell a story. My grandfather had 3 wives and could not spell polygamy. I had just 3 grandmothers, and I had these stories from them who told me stories, and these stories were boring, and especially my grandmother on my father's side, because by the time the stories were halfway, we were all asleep, and she'd still go on. But my usual moment with my grandmother is when she was praying, and she was so poetic. I wish you understood Xhosa when we pray to God. I mean, and we would giggle. And because my grandmom goes on praying, and my grandmother would say, excuse me, God, for a moment. And shut up. And then she says, as I started. And she'll continue to pray. and when one day she's bored and she would say, tell me a story. And I said, but I'm young. I don't know stories. She says, well, tell one of mine. And I said, I can't because they never end. By the time those stories are halfway, I'm asleep already. And then she said, make it up. And that has been the basis, the foundation of my career, is to make it up, is to tell stories. When I started with the Serpent Players in 1965, and I met this white man who I thought was the caretaker, because he was very shabbily dressed with the brown jersey with the elbows out, standing to an old Zephyr outside that even didn't belong to him, belonged to his mother. When we walked in the theater, this room at the old Rose University in Port Elizabeth, and someone said, this is Arthur Fugard. I said, oh, is that him? He said, yes. Oh, he's our director. I said, oh. And I was thinking, why do these black people work with a white person? This is the enemy. How are we going to go on with the revolution if we're going to be fraternizing and making friends with white people? When the time comes that we have to kill all the white people in this country, there's going to be a problem. Because they're going to be saying, no, 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 that one's a friend. No, 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 that one's a friend. No, 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 no. I said, it's getting too much. And then I met Barney Simon at 1969. I met the same year Manny Menem. And I felt like, no, I met Alan Payton. And then I thought, no, 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 I'm knowing a lot of white people. It's messing up the revolution. And today, those people have been a remarkable influence in my life. I have influenced their lives and we've grown up together. And this is what for me is important about South Africa, is the ability for all of us to live together, to work together, to go to the future together. The arts have played an incredible role. I cannot highlight the role of the Market Theatre, where I know you talk about Sandra Prinsloo. We did this play called Miss Julie by Strindberg. And we opened at the Baxter Theatre. I didn't actually kiss her for that long time. Really, I just put a little touch of the lips, and 220 people walked out of the theatre. And then we came to the Market Theatre, and 300 people walked out when I touched Sandra's breast, and I know, don't feel bad, it was in acting, and I touched her lips. And they were led by the old late Professor Linky Boshoff. And just as I did that, someone in the audience says, no, there's Daram Khanukhno. And they all walked out with the doors. And from those days, we've continued at the Market Theatre to do the work that investigates and interrogates, explore, and build relationships with the South African community. We've been through the laboratory, the crucible of the development of new talent, new work. You know, I was so proud, Christine, that last year, Lindy Windlove won for the SAFTA, the Best Actress Award. I remember when she came to the Market Theatre Laboratory, a very shy young person, and she said, I want to learn to act. And last year she won the Best Actress Award in films. The year before, it was Kenneth Ngosi, who also won. I remember him too, coming to Barney and I and saying, I want to learn this, but I've got a problem with my parents. They say, I'm lazy, I'm not looking for work. Can you talk to them? I said, no, I can't. You go to talk to them and convince them. If you're not sure, they will know. But if you're sure, they will leave you alone. So that has been the role of the Market Theatre. And today, in whatever manner that I'm honored, it is not just John Kani, it is a constituency of the artists and arts practitioners and the people of this country who knew that the power of the arts. I can try and convince you to follow a particular political line. I can try perhaps and make you even follow a particular type of religion. I don't think I'll ever succeed. Where art succeeds is that art addresses itself individually. It's you and the piece of art. It's you and the project. It's you and the book. It's you and the poem. It's you and the music. It's you and the orchestra. You may go with your husband and your children, but when the lights come up, it's just you. And when it touches you, you know exactly that there's a part in you that is still human. And you need to hold on to that for the rest of your life. Because when we lose our humanity, we lose the essence of our own existence, coexistence. When art speaks, art unites, art builds, art gives us the reason why we're alive. For these few words, I want to thank this great institution for giving me this honor that maybe my great-grandchildren, when they ask, what did your grandfather do? Said, come, I'll take you to number 13, 5th Street in Houghton. There's a place that'll show you my grandfather, where he was honored. So my grandfather was actually a very important person. You may not know him. So these are the little things that, for me, only say, keep working. People are listening. The world is changing. We are changing. And change frightens all of us. But change is the only way that can make us go forward. I didn't know how I was going to live in a free South Africa. I had so much hatred and resentment and bitterness. And I met this old man who said to me, now, we're going to have a new South Africa. And I said, you know we're not going to continue the struggle. He said, no, I'm handling that. And that was Nelson Mandela. We said, oh my God, he's senile. They're 27 years in prison, they finished him. We're not going to listen to this old man no more. And yet he has been the new light in all our lives. The important thing is not to remember Nelson Mandela as when I met Nelson. Not to remember Nelson Mandela because he came with truth and reconciliation. Not to remember him because he politically changed South Africa. But to remember him as a very wise man whose life, whose words, whose deeds are the reason South Africa is the envy of the entire world. And we all have a little piece in our hearts that was touched by this man, even if we've never met him. We are called abroad the Mandela people. We're called in this country the true South Africans. Thank you.